Commando is one of the quintessential 1980s action films, and it's often remembered for its over-the-top action, one-liners, and of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger at the peak of his action hero powers. Directed by Mark L. Lester and released in 1985, Commando was a game-changer in terms of what audiences expected from action movies in the 80s. Plot overview. The movie follows John Matrix, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, a retired Special Forces operative who just wants to enjoy a quiet life with his daughter, Jenny, played by Alyssa Milano. But when a group of mercenaries led by the villainous Bennett, played by Vernon Wells, kidnaps Jenny in order to force John to do their bidding, Matrix is pulled back into action. The plot is simple, but effective. Matrix must rescue his daughter, taking down a small army of bad guys along the way. What follows is a relentless series of explosive encounters, witty one-liners, and brutal physical confrontations that define the genre. The characters. Let's talk about the characters for a moment. Arnold Schwarzenegger as John Matrix is at his most iconic. The character itself is a fusion of the invincible hero trope and the classic action movie loner. Matrix is the kind of guy who could disarm an army with his bare hands while tossing off one-liners that'll make you smile. There's a certain calmness to Arnold's performance here, as if Matrix knows he's unbeatable, which adds to the fun of the film. He's not just a killing machine. He's a father who loves his daughter and will go to any lengths to protect her. Then there's Alyssa Milano as Jenny. While her role isn't as complex as Arnold's, she serves as a solid motivator for Matrix's actions. She's also one of the first real sidekicks in an action movie that's a female character with some independence, though, of course, she's still largely the damsel in distress. Still, her character holds her own in some moments. Bennett, played by Vernon Wells, is the quintessential 80s villain. He's menacing, with an almost cartoonish evil streak, and his personal history with Matrix gives the film a bit more depth. Bennett's obsession with Matrix is unsettling, and his over-the-top performance adds to the humor and madness of the movie. And let's not forget the supporting characters, such as the tough and resourceful Cindy, played by Rae Dawn Chong, who becomes Matrix's ally in the second half of the film. Their dynamic is a lot of fun, and she provides a nice counterbalance to Matrix's brute strength with her own resourcefulness. Action and themes. One of the main draws of Commando is, of course, the action. The movie doesn't take itself too seriously, which gives it the freedom to go completely wild with the action. There are some moments where Matrix dispatches enemies in ways that are absurdly fun and physically impossible, like launching a full-size rocket at a helicopter with one hand or taking down an entire group of soldiers without breaking a sweat. Commando is the epitome of an action movie where the hero is an unstoppable force of nature. The themes of the movie are classic 80s action tropes. It's a revenge-driven plot, but it's also about fatherhood, as Matrix fights to get his daughter back. The idea of a tough guy with a soft spot for his child was a common theme in the 80s, with films like Rambo and Die Hard also exploring this type of character. There's a contrast between Matrix's professional, no-nonsense persona and his love for his daughter, and the film plays with this duality to give some depth to the hero. Arnold Schwarzenegger's career. At the time of Commando's release, Arnold Schwarzenegger was already becoming a massive star thanks to The Terminator, 1984, and Conan the Barbarian, 1982. However, Commando solidified his status as one of the biggest action stars of the decade. He had already proven he could bring charisma and intensity to roles that required a lot of physicality, but Commando was a turning point where he became a household name as an action hero. Schwarzenegger's blend of physicality, deadpan humor, and larger-than-life presence made him perfect for the role of Matrix. The movie was a departure from the darker, more brooding nature of The Terminator and leaned heavily into the fun, tongue-in-cheek aspect of the action genre that was so popular at the time. For many fans, it's hard to think of another actor who could have pulled off the role of John Matrix quite like Arnold did. Following Commando, Schwarzenegger went on to star in even bigger hits, including Predator, 1987, Total Recall, 1990, and of course, Terminator 2: Judgment Day, 1991, all of which solidified his place in Hollywood. The 80s and 90s would be defined by Arnold's career, and Commando helped set the stage for all of that success. The action movie genre in the 80s. When Commando was released in 1985, the action movie genre was in full swing. It was a time when muscle-bound heroes and exaggerated stunts were the norm, and movies were starting to embrace a more fantastical approach to action. Films like Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, and Rambo: First Blood Part 2 were all influencing what action films would become, but Commando stands out because of its unapologetic absurdity. It takes the action genre's most beloved elements and cranks them up to 11. What made action films from this era stand out was the physicality of the actors and the incredible practical stunts. The special effects weren't as sophisticated as they would be in later years, so filmmakers had to rely on real explosions, practical effects, and just plain crazy stunt work. This added an authenticity to the films, even if it also made them campier at times. The action hero of the 80s, especially the one popularized by Schwarzenegger, was larger than life, almost invincible. These characters weren't just out for revenge, they were untouchable forces of nature, and that's what made them so appealing to audiences. They offered a sense of escapism where the bad guys were always going to lose, and the hero would always win. Final thoughts and legacy. Commando may not have the most intricate plot, but it's packed with action and fun. It's a pure, unapologetic 80s action movie that doesn't hold back. It became a cult classic over the years, thanks to its charm, ridiculous stunts, and iconic one-liners. Let off some steam, Bennett. The movie's success helped Arnold Schwarzenegger become an international superstar and cemented him as the face of 80s action. What's interesting about Commando is how it straddles the line between serious action and self-aware fun. The character of John Matrix doesn't take himself too seriously, and neither does the movie. That sense of humor is part of what makes the film so enduring, along with Arnold's charisma, of course. As for the legacy, Commando remains a touchstone of 80s action, and Arnold's influence on the genre is undeniable. The film's combination of fatherly love and explosive violence helped shape a decade of action heroes, and Commando is a key part of that narrative. If you're a fan of 80s action movies, Commando is an absolute must-see sight, and it still holds up as a fun, high-octane ride today. Whether you're watching it for the first time or revisiting it, the movie's energy and Arnold's performance will keep you entertained from start to finish.